Yeah, man.
But because I can honestly, there would be a point in my time, in my earlier point of finding out that if I knew without a doubt, dude, I'd be, but I'm smarter than that. My wife tells me, Jeremy, you're smart. You're not dumb, and now that it's been a few years and I've really learned to identify things and take things for a grain of salt, and I tell them like, one of the things that really touched my heart was the video that you did with finding lost children and using it to find missing kids. Man, that had me in tears. And it's like, and they started making fun of me or something. I was like, if you guys, what good you guys could use with this technology, like
they don't care.
And
they need to feed on each other.
People,
yeah, blind people can see. Blind people can see.
People that are deaf, they're grimy.
Every kind of problem, there's a lot of problems that, major problems like that could be solved. Think about modern psychology. Like if somebody's, like say for instance, somebody's got like a real psychological disorder, like they were born some kind of messed up, and you could connect to them and understand how their mind works and possibly
help them
exactly, and maybe have them receive somebody that thinks normal, so their mind maybe could fix that breach or something like that. There's a million possibilities for this technology, but these gang stalkers, they don't want to hear none of that, and they need to feed on each other, and they need to be in groups of people to fuel the hate, to act like they have each other, like, they don't want to hear us. They don't want to hear us all the time. It's not going to be a one-on-one situation.
And I don't know what your belief in God or anything like that, and I'll keep it short with it, but that's my faith and that's my own first thing. But, I got into a thing where, when I pray, and I pray and I, pray for my food, that I always pray for them, to see the better light and stuff. They do not like it. It's like, don't pray for me. I don't ever want you to pray for me. And then they'll attack me over it. I'll be sitting at work and, next thing you know, my groin and everything else is pulsating, or, it's just like, you're another guy and you're making another guy's area. What is wrong with you? Like, I'm not being, that I'm against, whatever you're, but dude, it's like.
I deal with the same thing. And as far as religious, it's, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual, and I definitely believe in God.
Sure.
I just, I don't know which stories are true or whatever, but I was born into a Christian family, and I was raised in a Lutheran church, and so, if I had to choose, that's what I'll choose, Christianity, but, I'm really more spiritual than religious. I definitely believe in God, and there is definitely God.
You got to follow your heart, and whatever your heart tells you, man. And that's, and that's where I'm at with this is, if I lead with my brain's going to get me in trouble. My brain's going to be doing stupid stuff. But if I follow my heart and I take a step back, I look at my kids, and it's slowed me down. And it's now, I'm going to school, and I'm, completely looked at this from a different angle than what it was when I was up in Denver and when I first came here. Like, it was, and people think that, if you move to a different state or you move, no, it follows you.
It's anywhere. It's worldwide. It's a satellite broadcast that can touch you on any corner of the earth. Well, let me say one thing. These people, they have addictive personalities. If they're talking to you 24/7, connected to you, then they have an addiction to receiving your mind. And if you can imagine somebody that was more intelligent than you wouldn't want to receive your mind all the time. Okay, so the reason that you're so mind-blowing to them is because you're more intelligent than them. We're smarter than these people. Okay, so we don't have to take matters to any kind of violent level, because we can outsmart these people, and they're not that intelligent. So we just have to understand what's going on and start to learn how to exploit this and how they operate and how they do things, and we can definitely we can solve this situation like that.
And I like doing IQ tests. You're just talking about, I was thinking I like doing IQ tests on the computer or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to, because they feel, obviously they're doing it for a reason. Obviously they're feeling, and they'll slip sometimes. They'll sit there and say, I'm feeling his anger right now. Well, how are you feeling my anger? What are you, You know what I mean? Like, how can you feel my anger? And they catch them. Like, certain small things I've caught them on, you know, especially the EMF broadcast that slipped, you know, and then they'll go back for like the next 24 hours beating in my head that it's not and trying to change it.
Oh yeah, they want to beat that out of you. So yeah, they slip up like that all the time and give away the secrets. You know, and in the beginning, like I really didn't even know that they could. There was a different guy on my channel back then, and he's pretty slick. I knew him beforehand. And he's a pretty smart guy, and he's pretty slick with it, and he didn't really let out that many secrets. So I really didn't know that they could see what I see and that they could feel what I feel. You know, and you learn all of this when you deal with them 24/7 for a long time. You learn things because, you know, it's just impossible for them not to slip up and give you something now and then. You know, something to know.
Now, when you talk about, you know, they see what you see, you know, I mean, I've questioned things like that, you know. Now, is it more of it's on a screen and they're seeing what you're seeing, or is it like not through your eyes, but is it whatever you're seeing, or is it white? Because I've heard things where they see it in white, they don't see it in full color. It's in a white imagery.
No, this is what they see, man. Listen, if you see something with your eyes, they can see that exactly. Now, if you close your eyes and you imagine something, they can see that, whatever you imagine. So it's not exactly from your eyes, it's the perception from your eyes that your mind has. So it's reading your mind. And when they see that, they're seeing that in their mind as if they saw it because they had that mind control on their head. So they're not looking at a screen. I used to think so like 5 years ago, and I started calling it the readout. I'll be like, y'all are giving me my readout because I thought they were reading everything off of a screen, you know?
Yep.
And what I learned over time, though, is that it's not like that at all. They get that in there. So if you feel something, or if you think something, or if you see something or imagine something, they get all of that right into their mind because you process it through your mind. So whatever your active process is with your mind, that's what they get.
Yeah, and I like doing impulse stuff. Like I'll act like I'm going to do something and tune be the other way.
Yeah.
And it kind of triggers something with them because they don't like it.
It just depends on whether you actually thought about the plan or not. Like if you thought about
like I'll walk to the bathroom and like, oh, shit, I forgot to go do something in the kitchen and just
go do it. Yeah.
Something there.
Yeah, they used to be like, oh, he just called an audible. yeah, because
it's fun. I mean, like I not to make it fun because it's not fun. It really isn't. But you know, I've learned to humor myself with it. And
me too.
Like if I literally had a readout of everything that I said to them, I'd probably. Because I mean, I've said some horrible stuff.
Me too.
You know, but at the same time, what can you do? You know, we can't. It's not like we can stop it. It's not like I can reverse it and do the attacks that they do.
Yeah.
And that the only thing we have is our voice. And no matter how we look at it, our voice is all we have. But people need to learn to control it though, because it's only going to get you attacked more. And I've it has.
I don't let them influence me at all. So like if they're gonna attack me more for doing something, it's not gonna stop me from doing it or not. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Exactly.
I don't want to feel like I want to have 0% of them controlling my actions. Yeah. So I'm gonna do what I want, even if it means they're gonna attack me. But they definitely.
It's more with my family. When they attack my family, like my son, my 11-year-old son, like my son came the other day and wrote down in a book because I have him writing a book anytime that he hears stuff, and I know now it's from an 11-year-old, and it's coming from different, that they were going to stab his brother. Because my oldest son just moved in with me, and that they were going to stab him, and he heard them say that. What is wrong? I'm an 11-year-old kid. You're going to
sit there
and do that?
They're literally terrorists. And they're really not going to do anything.
Yeah, and they're doing it to get at me, and that's what it is. And they know it upsets me, and that's what really gets me fired up is when you attack my family. And I told him from day one, you want to attack me all you want. I even tried pushing my wife away, and it was wrong with me, but I didn't want her to have to go through that. And would that have mattered if how do I know that if that was the case, that they still wouldn't just pursue her?
They might do that, and especially if you separate, because then you're not together to to give each other credibility. They don't want to have you with a team of people saying, all going, same things all happening to all of us or whatever, so it's not in the cereal you bought.
It starts to build, it starts to build momentum, and that momentum starts going.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but
there's already a lot of us.
I love her to death. She turned around and said, Jeremy, we got in this together. Before we were married, we got in this together. And, you thought I was the one behind it all. I mean, I did. I made accusations, and I just didn't know. But, that woman has probably kept me from doing, I did some dumb stuff, man. Like, I almost did, want to take my life at one point, and, but then I got back thinking I'm going to give these people the benefit of the doubt for what? And I'm not, psycho. I'm not crazy. I got a paper saying it, I've gotten, it's just these people know how to get in your head. I mean, they study you. They study you for a long time.
They know everything you think.
Probably know.
They know everything you think, and there's definitely for everybody almost that this happens to. It was happening way before they knew it was happening. Like I know that they had me on this way before they ever started the whole gang stalking and artificial telepathy and all of that. So they know. They know what's going on. But they don't.
Goes back about 2013 is when 2014 is when I knew I can take it back to. But I didn't even know when I was in Tennessee for a short period of time with my mom, and when I went back and started looking at photos, and I think I sent you some too, where totally obvious. We used to go out and have campfires and all that stuff. Didn't even pay attention to the broadcast and all that stuff. And when I went back in and started enhancing stuff, I was like, damn.
It was
and I had flat walls. We had flat walls up there, and it was flat, so you couldn't see the stuff, on the walls. But the walls I have now, they're like that stucco finish.
Yeah.
And like I have pop ceiling, and that stuff just sticks out. So I wound up getting a the Christmas light, the laser light.
Yeah, the star shower.
The star. Well, I put one of those in my room, and I turn it on, and the green doesn't necessarily traps them, but I've seen them walk through it. I literally have seen them walk through it. I've seen them get stuck on the wall where they can't move, kind of. But then I've seen them overtake my green light, and it starts spinning all different colors and all different things. And next thing you know, all my lighting in my house is dimming. It's going out. So I don't know what's up with that, but I'm talking about like a power surge.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Well, I've had
power just.
I had a situation with I discovered that the whole green laser theory because I had a green laser like a pointer, and
that's where I got it from. Yeah.
Right. Well, see, I was in the backyard and I caught one of them in the laser, and I noticed that he couldn't get out of it, and I moved the laser and it was dragging the broadcast back and forth, and that's also when I noticed that because I got this floodlight that comes off of over my back door and it was shining out there, and while I was moving the broadcast with the laser that it was stuck on. It moving it, so I realized two things right then. One, that you could grab them with a green laser. Two, that the broadcast can cast a shadow, which explained like the shadow of a man with a gun right next to my window, and and stuff like that that I would see so many times. And then after about, I guess, 30, 45 seconds, the broadcast flickered out, and then they had to rebroadcast a new one. So it actually disrupts the broadcast.
Now, I believe, if I'm not 100%, but green is the strongest light in the spectrum, right? And it's like what they use, or
I don't know,
black or something like that.
I don't know. I mean, I saw that.
Green thing. I mean, I've had it stuck.
Well,
I've had them stuck to the wall. Yeah, I walked through it, so I don't know.
I noticed that when I hit them with the green laser, because I've done it a few times after that. I would see them like down in my yard, like my backyard goes kind of deep, so I would see them down there, like. Walking around like, lurking around, and I would hit them with the green laser, and it would ricochet around because a EMF broadcast is like reflective, so it would ricochet within it, and it would light up the whole thing. So you could hardly see it, but then you hit it with the laser, and the laser would bounce all around in the broadcast, and it would light the whole thing up. So it was pretty bizarre.
I mean, that's what it does in my room. I have it in my room, and I did it for a while. I had it on every single night. And if I start taking pictures, you can see in the light, like all the object of the person,
right.
See the actual object.
Yeah, I think it would be good to expose it in like photography videos and stuff, like to hit them with the laser. I think it would help expose the whole thing a lot better than just normal.
and I do have pictures of it. But I've seen them like stuck on the walls and coming out of the wall, like the wall was breathing. I'm like, am I on anything? This is weird. It's like really weird. And I'm like, but then it's seriously. And then I did. I was reading another thing is transparency with salt water. Salt water absorbs EMF, and that's one of the things I researched. And so I've tried it all. I tried taking not sea salt, but there's another type of salt, the pink salt, and I mixed it in a bottle and I sprayed it, and for like a half a second it kind of absorbed it, and then it was gone. But I've tried different things, and I'm past the experimentation point. I want to get to the point where I'm researching something to the fullest. So when I do it, yeah, I'm gonna have failed attempts, but it's not like damn, I just got my hopes up for nothing.
Right. So, well, I think we're pretty limited right now because we're using regular cameras and regular editing software. I think that we're probably, to really expose broadcast and photography, we're going to need to use full spectrum cameras, which are very expensive, as well as some sort of advanced editing technology.
Yep.
But
multi-million-dollar technology, I think.
Well, I don't think it's like that. I think we could probably, if somebody wanted to buy a full spectrum camera, maybe $5,000 or $10,000 or something like that, and then maybe $1,000 program.
Yeah, and that's eventually what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to start putting money to the side for that, because if I can do it on my freaking Android phone or my Apple phone, then what can I do with a real camera?
Right.
There's some apps out there, like even with apps that just have like the lens of a night vision. It's not really night vision, but it's the color of it and the stuff that I can get out of that. Just with that, I couldn't imagine having. I'm going to buy a nice pair of night vision goggles.
I actually got something pretty basic. It's a Samsung baby monitor, but it has night vision on it. And one time I had it set up at my back side door and onto my carport, and I got a little video. I can't find a video. I've got some still shots from it, but you could see like this mutant lady. She looked like some kind of mutant with a long gun, and but you could see it really well with that night vision, and so there's something to that. But full spectrum photography is beyond the visible range of human vision. So with like infrared and ultraviolet and stuff like that. So if you could photograph those type of waves, then I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to photograph the broadcast, and who knows what that could lead to.
And who knows what is actually there that we're not seeing, kind of a thing, which is really beyond what
it's like a whole world of broadcasts going on.
Yeah, I had my whole room look like a stadium, like a full, like they were in a football stadium looking down at me, and the picture that I was taking the other night had it, and I enhanced it. It's just like, man, I got to get a good camera, and that was just done with taking pictures, blowing out candles with my wife, and it was like, man, and that's my next thing. We were talking about the like a fog machine or dry ice and getting the right lighting.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what comes with that. That's my next thing. It was a good idea. I mean, that was really so. Yeah. But,
yeah,
man. It's to the point where we just got to do things differently. So
Well, I think we're on the right track, man, and kind of leading the way. And there's not a lot of scientists and public officials that are helping out, and it's just guys like me and you that are doing our thing and talking about this, that are really spreading the word and starting to hack into this technology a little bit. So,
all the rich people are silent partners, and they're not getting supposedly the Illuminati and the NW, they might be involved in it, but they're silent, and they're never going to be exposed because people know the consequences of stuff like that.
Well, they're not willing to give it up, man. They're not willing to give up this technology to everybody. It gives whoever has access has a huge advantage over anybody that doesn't. Whether they use it for evil gain stalking or if they just use it for personal gain or whatever. There's a lot of things that go on with it, and so far nobody's given it up. So then they're careful, not to give it to people like us that may decide, this has to stop.
How do they decipher that? Because
they just connect to you. How does your mind work? Or are you scheming and evil or a narcissist? And if you're not, then they're not going to give it to you because that puts them at risk.
Yeah, but you think about that. It's like the friends, people that are behind this, some of them, they're degenerates, just like, you know what I mean? And what gets them to make a mistake and give it to the wrong person? Because people say, oh, there's a million people that might have it. If a million people had this technology, guess what? It would not be a secret anymore. So
I don't know, man. I think maybe it's getting to be a lot of people. I mean, and I've
society, I mean, I get the secret society type stuff, but
yeah, they're giving it to they can give it to whoever they want to, and they can, I think it's getting difficult for them to just put everybody on remote because I think everybody's starting to get put on it, and but as far as like giving it to people, I think they give it to who they want to, and I've known people that didn't have it that ended up getting it, and and then they can give it to who they want to, and it just spreads like that. I think they're careful.
To the wrong person, though, you know what I mean? Like
that's the biggest thing to me. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
I mean, it has to be something where they must put them on it in order for them to, to know if they're, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll put somebody on it and then decide whether or not they're sinister enough to give it to.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess that makes sense because
Yeah.
The wrong person gets it, or like you had the guy that was on your thing for a while, and he found God and went back to his wife and all that.
That's what they said. That's just what they said. But that's maybe
exactly.
He went back to his wife or whatever. But he's one of them.
I mean,
he's one of them, and that's what they said. But they'll say anything. Who cares what they said? Really, it's not, I don't believe that it's true. I believe that it's just what they said.
Of course.
So I don't know.
Because if somebody truly comes to God and truly comes to that moment, they're gonna do right in their life, and the right way to do it would be to come forward and to. So yeah,
right.
That's exactly the same thing I said. That's bullshit. So excuse my mouth, but it's bull. It is.
Yeah, man.
100% just
it
garbage.
is. I think it's all going to come in the future, though. It's got it. Too many people are knowing about it. Too many people are victims of it. Too many people are having access to it, and I think we're approaching a different time on this earth, and where this is going to be exposed, and then we're going to have mind control, whether people can choose to be on it or not to be on it, and it's going to change things.
That's horrible. And that's a horrible thing to think of about living your life through a broadcast. Like, not to experience real world, like real life stuff, to be in a whatever state you want to call it. What's so great about that? To be in a coma?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems really interesting and intriguing to be able to do something like that. Until you start to go through this for a long time and you realize how these people are and how they're wasting their life away, and how when you deal with them 24/7 and you start to realize, like, these idiots been on mind control for years without doing anything, and they don't even come outside. So
wait till they get old and see how our brains are going to be messed up by the time we get that old. What do you think their brains are going to be?
Yeah,
they're on the opposite side.
Yeah, they're receiving this thing. Yeah, they really are like a science experiment. I don't know if they see it that way or not, but I see it that way. But it seems like we're the victims of this. But in reality, while they're victimizing people, they're victimizing themselves as well. But they choose to do that, so that's the difference.
Of course, yeah. It's like when I tell them I feel like a damn lab rat, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
exactly what it is. So.
Well, look, man, I'm kind of running out of time. So, are you doing videos or anything like that, or anything you want to promote or anything?
No, just listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. It took me a long time. Like I said, I thought you were nuts and crazy, but you can check out my YouTube. I'm gonna start posting more stuff. I'll give you a link you can put in with it. But other than that, man, just before you guys make dumb decisions, just follow your heart. Don't follow your head, because you're going to wind up in the wrong direction, and you'll wind up in more crap, and it's not worth it. So, don't believe everything you read on the internet, because it's garbage. I mean, I've spent weeks and weeks and weeks reading shit that, it's this, it's that, it's this and that. And honestly, the only thing that pans out and proves itself is watching this guy's video. So I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we can do it again. I can bring my wife on, and she can tell you her experiences as well too, what she's went through. So
yeah, that's cool, man. Definitely, and I appreciate that. And I'll put your link in the description for your YouTube channel. And there's like
I'm down to earth.
Yeah.
I'm down to earth, man. I'm chill. It is what it is, and I'm learning from it, and use it as knowledge and learn from it, and hopefully this will be over soon. So
Yeah, I'm glad to find people that can deal with this and still be productive within life. So I appreciate you coming on, and
not a problem.
we'll do it again soon. Jeremy from Florida, everybody.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.